Well, good day to you one and all. Here I am in Reno, one of the cities that I've dreamt of visiting. I've also dreamt of doing a residency here. I think it's, like, look at the light and the colour and the people just throwing their lives into the tumble dryer of fortune, just on the off chance that they might improve their standing and defeat the odds that the casinos thrive on. It's an interesting place, it really is. I would normally show you the tour bus and demonstrate the fact that I arrived on one, but I've had to park it somewhere else for security reasons. There's nothing depressing about Reno at all. I think it's really nice. There's a river down there that I walked along earlier. Really enjoyed it. It was a bit like a Nick Berry music video. But anyway, the dates that you will see meandering, well, actually not meandering, they're just moving across the bottom of the screen. Those are places and dates that pertain to the Justin Hawkins Rides Again live experience. Justin Hawkins Rides Again, because I've already done it once before, in theatres across the UK at the beginning of 2026. It's a fresh and exciting development in terms of what I'm going to be doing in the show. There'll be a lot of music analysis, chaos, special guests, cerebral connections, and all this kind of stuff. The things that you've come to associate me with, but live. As I said, at these places and on these dates. So buy a ticket, come and see me, say hi, and I'll catch you cats. Not in Reno, but in the UK in 2026. Nice. Well, good day to you one and all. It is I, Justin Hawkins, and this is Justin Hawkins Rides Again. As I mentioned before, I'm in Reno, so unfamiliar surroundings. A hotel room, which we're in just for a few hours, to have a bit of a rest in between San Francisco and Boise, I think we're playing tomorrow. It's just exciting stuff. We're seeing so much of the Americas, and I'm glad we came to Reno instead of going to Vegas. I've been to Vegas a few times, and Reno's just a bit different. Anyway, today I'm going to be talking about a man whose voice I've admired since I was 14 years old, which is half a lifetime ago. David Coverdale. He's announced his retirement. He's done it in a pretty classy way, and I'm going to talk about that and him and look at one of his legendary songs that I've always loved. Justin Hawkins Rides Again. A cappella. Sorry about that. Don't have a guitar. Don't especially need one, I suppose. Anyway, on Thursday, David Coverdale announced his retirement in a video message to his fans. It's a pretty classy way of doing it. I'm going to click on this quick and then talk to you about what I think of David Coverdale in general.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, brothers and sisters of the snake, a special announcement for you.
It's so classy, isn't it? It's like watching Joanna Lumley address her audience.
50 years plus of incredible journey with you, with Deep Purple, with Whitesnake, Jimmy Page. The last few years has been very evident to me that it's time really for me to hang up my rock and roll platform shoes and my skin-tight jeans. And
it's never a good moment to hang up the platform shoes and skin-tight jeans. I think David Coverdale has done a lot to establish the blueprint for what one should expect from a lead vocalist in the realm of rock. He really is one of the originals. I've always loved him. I'm trying to think of the time when I got really into him. It was when I was 14. I think they played at the Monsters of Rock in Donington before they used to call it Download. So there was radio coverage of that. I think probably on BBC Radio, maybe Radio 1 even, when rock mattered, at the end of the 80s. And he used to do this thing where he'd finish a song, say something to the audience, and then before the next song he'd go, "Here's a song for ya." Here's a song for ya. Not in that sort of classy Joanna Lumley plummy voice that he's using today, but in this sort of really nasty rock and roll voice, I suppose. We actually played with Whitesnake in that sort of breakthrough year for The Darkness. In 2003, we supported them at the Ipswich Regent Theatre, and obviously they were awesome. He was amazing. His band was fantastic, and also I witnessed David Coverdale flirting with my mother, as though they'd met in a previous life or something. They were definitely cut from the same cloth, and it was really fun to watch. And even my father enjoyed it because it was preposterous. You know, they were sort of trying to pass each other in a corridor backstage at the Ipswich Regent, and I think he said, "Make way for royalty," and my mother said, "Oh, me or you?" And then they were just sort of doing Roger Moore at each other. It was amazing. But yeah, let's watch a bit more of this announcement.
And as you can see, we've taken care of the lion's wig.
Is he confessing to wearing a wig? No.
But it's time for me to call it a day. I love you dearly. I thank everyone who's assisted and supported me on this incredible journey, all the musicians, the crew, the fans, the family. It's amazing, but it really is time for me to just enjoy my retirement. And I hope you can appreciate that. Once again, I love you with all my heart.
It's funny, isn't it? Because I think like he's almost sort of apologising for hanging up the skin-tight jeans and the platform shoes, because I think there is a kind of, it's a double-edged sword, isn't it? Because it's like, in some instances, you're going, well, these people are lifers, you know, they'll be doing it until they keel over, I suppose. But then at the same time, you're charging a premium to witness a legend singing these amazing songs, and sometimes they're just not really capable of it anymore. It is just anatomy and luck, really. It's like some people can do what Glenn Hughes has done and sort of end up being, you know, a senior citizen with an amazing rock voice. And sometimes it doesn't work out like that, you know. You can look after it all you want, but when it goes, you know. So there's going to be some people going, I thought it was a lifer, and then there's going to be people cynically going, well, he'll probably come back if the money's right or something. But I love this. I think this is really an elegant farewell, isn't it? Just to sort of raise a glass and say thanks for the memories, and a brilliant montage of David Coverdale through the ages, I suppose. Feels like forever since we've been apart. Anyway, this is too sad for me to watch right now. So David turned 74 in September, but he hasn't performed live since the cancellation of Whitesnake's farewell tour in 2022 due to health challenges. But I wanted to talk about David's voice by focusing on one of my favourite tracks, and there are many, including Burn. That's the title track from the album by Deep Purple. It's the Mark III lineup in 1974, and he shared vocals with Glenn Hughes. And I've already mentioned him because I think Glenn Hughes is an anomalous individual with the greatest voice. Despite being, you know, a little bit older than me, you know, he's just kicking ass still. Some of his collaborations with Jimmy Page in the 80s. Mama's little princess, Daddy's pride and joy. I like a kid at Christmas, playing with your toys. But anyway, the one I'm going back to is from 1980, and it's from the album Ready and Willing. I really love that as the title track, actually, but the opening track, Fall for Your Lovin', is the one that I want to cover. This is one of the ones that they reimagined in the late 80s when they did Slip of the Tongue. I mean, it's weird how, like, it was such a great song that it bears revisiting even before a decade's passed. Anyway, this is the 1980 version. This is the one that features Mickey Moody and Bernie Marsden, who wrote it with Coverdale, and former Deep Purple keyboardist John Lord, and Ian Pace on drums. Neil Murray plays bass, and Steve Vai played on the later version. Probably one of the reasons why I loved the 89 Fall for Your Lovin'. But let's do the 1981 because it's amazing. That's the sweeping sort of keyboard intro. You know, you'd expect a bit more of a filter on there, so wow, but it's pretty standard, this one, like just an Oberheim hitting whatever the first note is there. So it doesn't take long for him to impose himself on the track. So it's got one of those riffs that... So it's not dissimilar to something like, you know, Power of Love by Huey Lewis or something like that, but this is a forefather of that. Yeah, yeah. And he makes it known that Coverdale's in the house before the first riff revolution has happened. What a beautiful voice. Even when he's just mming. Doesn't even need to open his mouth to have a presence, really.
I was born under a bad sign, left out in the cold.
I mean, those runs, there's so much precision in the sort of, when he sort of weaves this melody down. Left out in the cold. It's just got this, it's like soul singing almost. And then the grit, the Coverdale grit comes in on this next line.
I'm a lonely man who knows just what it means to lose control.
Now let's bear in mind the fact that this was recorded in 1980 or probably 1979. No auto-tune, no, there's no laptops or, you know, getting into detail with the edits on these things. If he cocked up a line, it would be a punch-in on a tape machine. And that has its own risks, as I've discussed with Rick Beato when I was over at his place. It's I just think it's amazing when you hear a performance like this on an old recording. It's just amazing. People like Coverdale, Paul Rodgers, you know, they have this sort of sweet spot of grit and control that few singers have. You know, it's really just the greats that have it, and there's no doubting that Coverdale's a great. Any doubt that you have about Coverdale being a great, leave that at the door. He's great, all right? And this is evidence of it.
But I took all the heartache and turned it to shame.
But it's so luxurious as well. I mean, I think he's probably the Roger Moore of lead vocalists. Yeah, the more I think about it, that's what he's reminding me of. Just you check out his speaking voice and this sort of the sort of, how can I put this? The way he puts his embouchure around even just, you know, the things that he's saying in an interview or whatever. It's I don't know. It just has a sort of rada elegance to it. It's just amazing.
Now I'm moving on, and I ain't taking the blame. Don't come running to me, I know I've done all I can. A hard-loving woman like you just makes a hard-loving man.
I mean, the way he positions himself, the stance that he takes the stance that he adopts when he's singing, it just makes perfect sense that he'd work with Jimmy Page in the 80s. Of course, that would be the go-to vocalist. Who are you going to call? David Coverdale.
So I can say to you, babe, I'll be a fool for your loving no more. A fool for your loving no more. I'm so tired of trying, I always end up crying. Fool for your loving no more. I'll be a fool for your loving no more.
So what's great about that chorus is it's kind of like a two-parter. Fool for your loving no more, fool for your loving no more. And then so tired of trying, I always end up crying. Fool for your loving no more. So like the second half of the chorus, it kind of offers a bit of background to the actual refrain of Fool for your loving no more. Then repeats the Fool for your loving no more over a different chord where it's all suspended and mystical, and then a drop out where you really hit them in the face with the title of the song. It's just a masterful piece of pop rock writing. No fat on it whatsoever. Completely superfluous in every possible way. I mean, let's not pretend. This is peacocking, but you know, the best kind, the kind that inspired all of the 80s. And then a counter riff that we haven't heard before that happens after the first chorus. mean, John Lord has got enough keyboards there. He's probably got more keyboards there than I've got tattooed on my body, and there's quite a few tattooed on my body.
Tore it apart. Oh baby, you done me wrong. Don't come running to me. I know I don't all I can. A hard-loving woman like you just makes a hard-loving man. So I can say it to you, babe, I'll be a fool for your loving no more.
Can't argue with it, can you? It's just really fun to listen to. I haven't been able to bring myself to pause it and say anything about it. I mean, I don't have anything to say at this point apart from this is great. I haven't listened to this for a little while and I'm really enjoying it.
A fool for your loving no more. So tired of trying, I always end up crying. Fool for your loving no more. I'll be a fool for your loving no more.
See, and he doesn't get overexcited when that drop out thing happens. You know, I bet there's always a temptation as a singer to try and put all of the grit and determination into that one little moment. But he does it in such a smooth way. It's like, I kind of see him as a bit of a crooner almost, you know. I mean, God knows he's brilliant at delivering ballads, you know, like Is This Love? Here I Go Again. Oh, I mean, yeah, he's just, I think he's a bit of an all-rounder really, but he brings a bit of that sort of crooner sensibility even to the rockier ones like this. Really just about how, like a singer like John Waite, for example, and if you compare and contrast like this David Coverdale's style to a singer like John Waite, you know, he did a lot of stuff with the Babies and other artists and other bands and stuff. But when he was like, you know, if you think about that, I am missing you since you've been gone away. I am missing you. That you know, that's that guy. He always used to truncate and almost deliver his sort of vocals in a staccato way. So it was all about the space in between the lines. And I think David Coverdale's a bit more of a, he's so much more smooth, and like the way he doesn't clip like the phrases, he just lets it ring out. And I think that's really cool because it's sort of like there's two things to consider when you're coming up with any sort of melodic conceit, or you know, what you want to call it, when you're coming up with a melodic idea, because you have to think about the primary effect and the recency effect. So like the first thing you hear as a listener and the last thing you hear, these are really sort of profound. They profoundly impact your enjoyment of the song, I think. So like if the end of the line is like has a long reverb tail on it, and you do it in a really sort of truncated way, and the space allows you to sort of think, oh, okay, and then you let the lyric sort of sink in, and the music sort of comes up to accompany you absorbing the lyric. That's the recency effect. And I think David Coverdale concerns himself with the primary effect. He comes in hard, really kicks ass, and then the ends of every line he has is just sort of smoothly disappearing into the, you know, the mists of the backing track, so that you can sort of like just go, fucking hell, this guy is absolutely ruling. And even when he's sort of done, he's not quite done. You know, he sort of lingers, you know. That's a Coverdaleism that I think a lot of vocalists could learn from, because it takes balls to do that. I think if you're struggling with pitching or anything like that, I mean, it's a bit unforgiving. On that approach is a little bit unforgiving, because if there is any sort of reverb tail, or you're struggling, you know, to linger like that, that doesn't make your life any easier.
great guitar solos. You can actually guitar solos that you can sing along to that aren't necessarily reprising what the vocal melody's done. It's an extra melody to enjoy, isn't it? Sometimes I think there are guitarists that are technically brilliant, but they just go. It's like, how are you supposed to sing along to that? This is a great example of a guitar solo that you just sing along to. How much influence do you think Daryl Stuermer, Phil Collins' guitarist, has taken from this? Remember, there's that great sort of people watching Phil Collins and his band dancing along to a Daryl Stuermer solo. I'm not sure which song it was. That period of No Jacket Required and the Philip Bailey collaboration. But yeah, that's sort of slightly sort of chorusy. Sounds like it's double tracked, but probably isn't. It probably is just a bit chorus on the sound. And the phrases that he's using and the way the solo develops, I think that's influenced a lot of sort of pop rock stuff. And I would say Daryl Stuermer, who's one of my favourite guitar players anyway. But it sort of reminds me of that.
I'm so tired of trying. I always think I'm crying. Fool for your loving no more. I'm fool for your loving no more.
There you are. And that's him pulling the trigger in that last break there.
Fool for your loving no more. Fool for your loving no more. Fool for your loving no more. Fool for your loving no more.
That's so good. I'm a lonely man who knows just what it means to lose control. Ironically, the control it takes to do that, just what it means, is that sort of, sounds like he's driving it over the cliff, and then by the time he gets to the lose control line, he's back in command of it all. You know, it's a little bit like, I don't know, I'm trying to think of a sports analogy. It's like, for some reason, I'm sort of getting the image of somebody lassoing, like he's sort of, there's a moment when you're not in control of the physics of it. You've just thrown stuff out there, and then he just sort of pulls himself back in for the ends of those lines. So I think he operates. I don't know, the way he tops and tails every line is that's where the Coverdale affectation stuff comes in, and it's influenced so many singers throughout the 80s and beyond. I always thought that I would always be surprised if Chris Cornell wasn't influenced to a degree by the work of David Coverdale. And pretty much every big iconic sort of slightly raspy voice has probably, studied the work of David Coverdale. And as we all should, I think, we owe it to ourselves. Some great songs in there, and what an amazing contribution to rock and roll. So yeah, congratulations, David Coverdale, on an unbelievable career. Huge influence on myself, and I love the music. Got me through a lot of my early teen stuff and inspired me to want to be a singer. And yeah, it's wonderful. Enjoy your retirement. Have a lovely time. Sit back. Let people pamper you. You deserve it. And yeah, if he ever does decide to bring the platform shoes and skin-tight jeans out of retirement, I'll be there with a bell on. Yeah, be awesome. Justin Hawkins rides again. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. Watch one of these two videos. Go and explore the music of Whitesnake, Deep Purple. Just have a look for all of David Coverdale's contributions. He's amazing. Always has been. Always will be. Legend. All right, nice one. See you later, guys. All the best. See you on the ice. Yeah.
Again.